Before we begin this story of legacy, friendship, and brilliance, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications. Today, we look back at the incredible journey of Maggie Smith and the lifelong bond she shared with Judi Dench. Their friendship wasn't dramatic or loud, but something powerful, quiet, and built over decades. These two icons shaped British theatre for generations. Their work defined an era. And their connection became a rare example of trust in an industry known for competition. This is not a tale of endings, but of endurance. A story about art, loyalty, and the people who hold us steady. Let us begin at the very beginning of a legend. Maggie Smith's story started far from red carpets or flashing cameras. Born Margaret Natalie Smith on December 28, 1934, she came from a modest, hardworking family in Ilford, Essex. Her father was a pathologist, practical and scientific. Her mother was Scottish-born, warm and grounded. In 1939, as the war reshaped everything, the family moved to Oxford for safety. That move changed Maggie's future in ways no one could have predicted. Oxford placed her near culture and theatre. It opened doors she didn't yet know she would walk through, and it awakened her love for performance. At Oxford High School, Maggie wasn't the loudest student. She wasn't the girl who demanded attention or chased the spotlight. Instead, she observed everything. Teachers noticed her depth, her imagination, and her instinct for storytelling. She absorbed Shakespeare as if the words were written just for her. Behind her quietness was a storm of talent waiting to rise. At 16, that storm pushed her forward. She left school early, determined to begin her journey into the world of acting. She joined the Oxford Playhouse and learned the foundations of her craft. Stage blocking, voice work, timing, every detail mattered, and she absorbed all of it. At 17, she was already standing on stage as Viola in Twelfth Night. This wasn't a hobby for her. This was purpose. It was the beginning of a lifelong journey. Maggie found the place where her voice finally belonged, and from this moment, she never looked back. Her ambition carried her to the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art in London, one of the toughest schools to enter. Her audition was raw, unpolished, but irresistible. She had something rare, authentic brilliance. At RADA, she learned discipline. She learned to control her voice, shape her movement, and hold a stage with minimal effort. She understood classical texts like few others her age. By her early 20s, Maggie wasn't simply following a path. She was carving one. Her talent soon led her to the Oxford Playhouse Repertory Company. The constant rotation of plays was a trial by fire. Actors had to learn scripts overnight. There was no room for hesitation. Maggie thrived. Comedies, tragedies, supporting roles, leading roles, she did them all. And she did them with precision and fearlessness. Even seasoned performers began to take notice. Her endurance was becoming her signature strength. She had arrived. By 1959, Maggie outgrew the smaller stages and reached the Old Vic, London's legendary theatre. This was where reputations were made and destroyed. The pressure was enormous. Yet Maggie stepped into Shakespeare's greatest roles with grace and command. Desdemona, Cleopatra, Viola, she handled them with striking sensitivity and breathtaking power. Critics saw something unique in her. She mastered the balance between subtle restraint and explosive emotion. This was the Maggie Smith the world would come to revere. Her time at the Old Vic placed her in the orbit of Laurence Olivier, Britain's most celebrated actor and director. He admired her talent but also challenged her fiercely. Their dynamic was legendary, sometimes inspiring, sometimes difficult. Maggie refused to shrink in his shadow. She matched him with wit, strength, and undeniable skill. Their clashes became part of theater history, but those creative storms sharpened her craft. She emerged more resilient and more certain of her place on stage. Film began calling to her soon after. Her breakout came in Nowhere to Go in 1958, earning her a BAFTA nomination. Hollywood took notice. In the VIPs, she stood alongside giants like Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, yet still commanded the audience's attention. But her life-changing moment arrived with the prime of Miss Jean Brodie. She delivered a performance of intelligence, passion, and emotional complexity. In 1970, Maggie won her first Academy Award. She had now crossed from respected actress to international icon. Despite Hollywood's success, Maggie never abandoned the stage. She moved between film and theater with ease. In 1978, she won another Oscar for California Suite, proving her range from dramatic intensity to razor-sharp comedy. Each role added another layer to her legacy. Her work carried honesty, never forced, always real. The world saw brilliance, but behind it all was a woman facing battles that few ever knew about. In the 1960s, Maggie married actor Robert Stevens. Their relationship was passionate but turbulent. Stevens battled alcoholism and personal instability. Their home life was marked by emotional highs and painful lows. Maggie tried to hold the family together for 6 years, but betrayal and heartbreak eventually tore them apart. Their divorce in 1973 left her raising their 2 sons largely on her own. It was one of the hardest periods of her life. Yet she endured with strength that would later define her. In the mid-1970s, life brought back an old friend, playwright Beverly Cross. He had loved Maggie for years, but their timing had always been wrong. Now, finally, they were free to choose each other. They married in 1975 and built a gentle, steady partnership. Cross supported Maggie's career with complete devotion. He understood her world and protected her from its storms. His death in 1998 devastated her. She once said she never remarried because no one could replace him. Maggie also faced serious health challenges. In the 1980s, she battled Graves' disease, a condition that affected her eyes and required surgery. Yet she kept performing, refusing to step back from her craft. Decades later, in 2007, during the filming of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. Treatments left her weak and exhausted, but she continued her work on set. Her resilience became an inspiration to millions. She fought quietly, bravely, and emerged stronger. By the early 2000s, Maggie Smith was already considered one of the greatest actresses of her generation. Then came a role that introduced her to an entirely new world of fans, Professor Minerva McGonagall. From the first Harry Potter film in 2001, she became iconic to younger audiences. Stern yet kind. Strict yet fair, she embodied wisdom. Across 8 films, she built a character that felt both magical and deeply human. Even during chemotherapy, she continued filming. Her dedication was extraordinary. Not long after McGonagall, another global success found her, Downton Abbey. As Violet Crawley, the Dowager Countess, she delivered one-liners with unmatched precision. Every scene she touched turned into gold. Her wit, timing, and emotional depth made Violet unforgettable. She earned Emmys, a Golden Globe, and worldwide admiration. Once again, she connected with new generations. Her legacy grew beyond Britain, beyond theater, beyond film. She became a cultural treasure. Through all these decades of triumph, one relationship remained constant, her friendship with Judi Dench. They met as young actresses in the 1950s. 2 rising talents sharing dressing rooms and audition lists. Instead of rivalry, they found respect. Instead of competition, they found understanding. Their personalities were different, Maggie's sharp humor against Judi's gentle warmth, but their hearts aligned. And that bond only deepened with time. They worked together often. Films like A Room with a View, Tea with Mussolini, Ladies in Lavender, and The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel showcased their chemistry. In theater, they performed side by side in The Breath of Life, drawing sold-out crowds. Audiences loved them together. And behind the scenes, their friendship became a sanctuary. They shared laughter, frustrations, secrets, and fears. They lifted each other through illness, aging, and the pressures of fame. People often tried to paint them as competitors. Awards season would come and both would be nominated. Headlines would whisper about rivalry, but Judi dismissed it with grace. She once said, "Maggie is one of my closest friends. I couldn't do half of what she does." Maggie responded with her usual dry humor, saying anyone who believed they fought clearly didn't know them at all. Their friendship wasn't for cameras. It was real, private, and deeply loyal. In 2018, the world saw their true chemistry in the documentary Nothing Like a Dame. Sitting alongside Eileen Atkins and Joan Plowright, Maggie and Judi laughed, teased, and spoke with raw honesty. It was a rare window into their decades-long bond. They both shared stories of stage mishaps, life challenges, and the bittersweet passage of time. Viewers felt as if they were witnessing a sacred sisterhood, one built on respect, resilience, and shared history. Judi and Maggie supported each other through personal losses. When Judi lost her husband Michael Williams in 2001, Maggie was by her side. When Maggie faced illness, Judi checked on her constantly. Their lives intertwined quietly without publicity. For both women, friendship became a form of survival. In an industry filled with pressure, judgment, and constant change, they found comfort in each other's presence. Their bond became one of the great love stories of British performing arts, not romantic, but deeply human. Even today, Judi speaks about Maggie with affection and admiration. She describes her as brilliant, strong, terribly funny, and endlessly loyal. Maggie, in turn, praises Judi's warmth and generosity. Their friendship represents the rarest kind of connection, one that outlasts awards, careers, and the ups and downs of a lifetime. As years pass, their bond only grows more meaningful. They have lived through decades of theater legends, film revolutions, and industry evolution. Yet their friendship remains untouched. Maggie Smith continues to work selectively, choosing roles that speak to her. Age has never dimmed her brilliance. If anything, it has sharpened her presence. She stands today as a living master of her craft. Judi Dench, too, continues to work, even as she adapts to her vision challenges. Together, they defy the idea that creativity has an expiration date. They are proof that passion continues, even when time tries to slow us down. Their story isn't a story of endings. It's a celebration of longevity, a tribute to two women who shaped generations of actors. They showed what excellence looks like, not through ego, but through dedication. They showed what friendship can be when it is built on trust rather than competition. They showed that greatness does not demand cruelty or conflict. It demands heart, discipline, and truth. Maggie Smith has given the world unforgettable characters. Professor McGonagall, the Dowager Countess, Miss Jean Brodie, each one carved into history. But beyond the roles, she has given the world something even more precious, an example of courage, resilience, and the strength to keep going. Judi Dench stands beside her as a fellow legend, a lifelong friend, and a witness to her extraordinary journey. Their legacy is intertwined, like chapters of the same story. And so, this tribute isn't just about achievements. It's about the quiet, powerful friendships that sustain us. It's about women who never stopped growing. It's about artistry that continues to inspire. If Maggie Smith's life teaches us anything, it's that true greatness is not loud. It is steady. It endures. Thank you for watching this story of brilliance and bond. What is your favorite Maggie Smith performance, and how do you remember her best? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories like this.